Dr. Kim, a scientist, is deeply involved in a project aimed at crafting a warhead for the combined forces of North and South Korea. While she's engrossed in her work, she catches sight of a news report discussing a massive comet hurtling near Earth. This comet makes its return every 433 years, but this time it's closer than ever, making it visible from our planet. Meanwhile, military leaders from both North and South Korea are in talks about surrendering a nuclear warhead. This warhead, developed in a clandestine bunker through the joint efforts of both nations under Dr. Kim's guidance, is now under intense scrutiny from global leaders. Under pressure, they reluctantly agree to relinquish the warhead, set to be transported elsewhere come morning. While this move is intended to foster peace, a North Korean officer named Kang is discontent with the decision. In an act of defiance, Kang and his troops seize Dr. Kim, who holds crucial access to the unit housing the nuclear weapon. By the stroke of midnight, the warhead vanishes, whisked away to the waters along with Dr. Kim, taken captive amidst the chaos. South Korean forces swiftly catch wind of the breach and dispatch a platoon led by Major Park to apprehend Kang and his cohorts. In a tense confrontation, both groups converge at the center of the Han River. Suddenly, a deafening sound erupts, triggering a shootout between them. Unbeknownst to them, the noise stems from the comet hurtling perilously close to Earth. This celestial event causes the boat to vanish without a trace. The screen fades to black, and when Dr. Kim regains consciousness, she finds herself amidst a vast field. In a frenzy, men clad in traditional attire engage in combat. A surprising turn of events unfolds when a comet triggers a time warp, hurling 3 North and 3 South Korean soldiers, accompanied by reluctant Dr. Kim, back to the year 1572 amidst the ongoing conflict between Joseon-era Koreans and Jurkian invaders. Initially brushing off their predicament as a prank, the soldiers swiftly realized the gravity of the situation when faced with retaliatory attacks. Dispatching the Jurkian soldiers with explosives incurs the wrath of their leader. Amidst the chaos, a gunshot grazing the commander's ear halts further hostilities. As the invaders withdraw, local Korean villagers embrace the soldiers, hailing them as saviors. Dubbed heavenly soldiers for their seemingly miraculous abilities, the bewildered soldiers seek refuge in a nearby cave for the night. Tensions escalate within the group, with Park leveling accusations at Kang for their plight. Dr. Kim intervenes, urging them to set aside their differences until they devise a plan to return to their own time. Of greater concern to Dr. Kim is the disappearance of a highly potent nuclear weapon, lost amidst their time-traveling ordeal. Holding Kang accountable, she implores him to locate the nuke, emphasizing its catastrophic potential surpassing even World War II's atomic bombs. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the Jurkian leader chastises a commander for fleeing the battlefield earlier, despite the soldiers' extraordinary prowess. Issuing a final ultimatum, he tasks the commander with eliminating the heavenly soldiers, providing him with a crossbow for the mission. In the cave, a curious commoner attempts to pilfer from the soldiers as they slumber. However, instead of absconding with the stolen goods, he opts to aid the soldiers, ensuring their rest undisturbed. Eventually, he's caught red-handed, which causes quite a stir, drawing the village guard's attention. Consequently, the thief and 2 soldiers are hauled off to the king for punishment. Kang and Park, disguised as regular folks, observe the whole affair from the sidelines. The thief is revealed to be Yi Sun-sen from a town named Asan. Park recognizes the name, triggering a realization that the thief is the famed Korean warrior who will later play a pivotal role in defeating the Japanese invasion. Yi is hailed as a national hero and the greatest Korean warrior of modern times. However, seeing him in person leaves Park bewildered because he doesn't match the heroic image portrayed in modern Korean history. The king decrees that Yi and the soldiers be executed for stealing what he mistakenly believes to be a metal ball but is actually an explosive. Later that night, the trio finds themselves locked up in a prison until a fellow soldier comes to their aid. In addition to helping the soldiers escape, he coerces Yi to join them. It turns out Yi had previously stolen weapons from a cave, and the soldiers are keen on retrieving them. Yi claims he tossed them into the river, but no one believes him. Park reveals Ye's true identity as the renowned warrior from history books, shocking everyone, especially given Ye's apparent lack of warrior-like qualities. Amidst the commotion, Yi seizes the opportunity to flee while everyone is distracted. However, the next morning, he finds the soldiers lounging in his front yard, making themselves quite at home. They lower their heads, calling him General and asking for forgiveness. He suspects they're trying to deceive him but feels powerless against all 6 of them. From the following day, Park takes on the responsibility to train Yi and mold him into the future general he's meant to be. Yi initially feels bewildered but gradually accepts the rigorous training. Meanwhile, Kang and his North Korean troops persist in their search for the nuclear weapon they believe has somehow traveled through time with them. Despite creating maps and scouring every corner of the village, they come up empty-handed. One morning, finding himself alone, he ventures into the woods with weapons he pilfered from the soldiers. He sees them as valuable items to sell later on and buries them near a tree. A young village girl witnesses his actions out of curiosity. Intrigued by the guns, the girl approaches Yi, but he manages to send her away by offering a chocolate bar as a bribe. However, a few hours later, she emerges from the woods with a gun in her hands. Jurchen spies, tasked with locating the soldiers, notice the girl and deduce that the soldiers must be nearby due to the presence of the gun. Meanwhile, Park and his comrades treat Yi with respect and look after him attentively. Dr. Kim expresses concern that meddling in Ye's life could alter the nation's future, but Park believes that guiding Yi is essential for him to fulfill his destiny as a warrior. One day, Dr. Kim gathers everyone eagerly, sharing her big discovery about the comet. She reveals that the last time it swung close to Earth was 433 years ago, precisely when they got transported back to 1572. According to the lunar calendar, the comet is due to pass by in 4 days, offering them a chance to return home. The catch is, she's unsure where exactly they should be in the village when the comet shows up. However, she's determined to figure it out. Later that night, Park catches his soldiers rummaging through Yi's stuff. They uncover a stash of plant roots, revealing Yi's secret life as a smuggler. They burn his stash and lecture him about his responsibilities to the nation, which infuriates Yi, feeling belittled. Shortly after, a South Korean soldier approaches Yi, pretending to read his future from his palm. Yi scoffs at the absurdity until the soldier tries to warn him about the truth. Tragically, before he can reveal more, an arrow pierces the soldier's neck, ending his life. Yi finds himself surrounded by church officials and invaders who capture and torture him, seeking information about the whereabouts of his fellow soldiers. Despite facing gruesome torture and even witnessing the decapitated head of a comrade, Yi remains steadfast, refusing to betray his comrades. However, the commander brings in the peasant girl who had saved the little girl's life with the gun. Yi agrees to lead them to the soldier's residence the next morning. The commander releases the girl but wounds her with an arrow before she can flee, warning Yi to keep his promise or face similar consequences. This threat seems preferable to enduring a lifetime of torture. During the night, Kang and his team arrive to rescue Yi and recover the nuclear warhead hidden inside a tent. Amidst the chaos, they confront the heir of the Jurchen, who attempts to use the stolen gun against Kang. With his quick reflexes, Kang eliminates the threat and escapes with Yi. By morning, the Jurchen leader discovers his son's lifeless body, fueling his desire for vengeance. Both he and the commander vow to hunt down the escapees. Elsewhere, Yi is deeply affected by the girl's unjust death. Haunted by memories of his father urging him to excel in the military, he finds newfound motivation to fight after witnessing the tragedy. Meanwhile, Dr. Kim notices the timer on the nuclear device has decreased from 10 to 5 minutes, indicating they've spent 5 days in the past, where time moves differently. Using the nuke, they precisely calculate the comet's trajectory and prepare to return to their own time. Later, they hold a funeral for their fallen comrade, only to be approached by grieving villagers who unearth weapons from the woods. Seeking revenge for the orphaned girl's death, they implore the soldiers for help, mourning her loss as if she were their own daughter. Initially, Major Park hesitates because he's wary of messing with history. But his perspective shifts when Kang steps up to aid the villagers. Together with their modern-day Korean companions, they gear up for battle. Amid strategizing for the attack, Kang and Park clash, resorting to fists until Yi intervenes, reminding them of the greater importance of protecting the villagers' lives. Park acknowledges Yi's transformation into a future leader. Yi spends a day scouting the area, predicting their rivals' movements and devising a cunning plan of attack. He suggests ambushing the enemy in a narrow part of the hill, where only a few can pass at once, giving them the upper hand. However, the odds are stacked against them, facing trained Chechen fighters, risking their lives in the upcoming battle. As the Chechen's impending arrival looms, Dr. Kim notices time speeding up, indicating the comet's acceleration. They must choose between returning home or aiding the villagers. Opting for their former lives, they fear staying would jeopardize Ye's fate. Before departing, Park urges Yi to flee for his safety, essential for Korea's future amidst the Japanese invasion threat. Despite Ye's anger, he's incapacitated and taken away for his own protection. Their plans unravel when they realize returning home means facing death for stealing the warhead. Kang's last-minute decision to stay and defend the village inspires the group to follow suit, each with their reasons for remaining behind. They entrust their necklaces to Dr. Kim, requesting her to deliver them to their families. After some time, determined Yi breaks free from his confinement and joins the soldiers and villagers in their fight. The enemy launches the initial assault, sparking a grueling battle. Using firearms and explosives, the soldiers manage to eliminate the first wave of attackers before they inflict significant harm. However, when the second wave armed with crossbows arrives, the villagers are pushed back, resulting in heavy casualties. The Jurchen leader decimates numerous soldiers, weakening the team. Major Kang sacrifices himself to save Yi from an arrow. Eventually, only Sergeant Choi and Park survive from Heaven's forces. Following a fierce struggle, the rival leader is ultimately defeated, securing victory for the villagers. Meanwhile, Dr. Kim faces an attack by the Jurchens elsewhere. A guard fights off the assailants to protect her. She narrowly escapes death from a grenade, thanks to the timely arrival of the comet, triggering the time rift once again. Returning to the present with the warhead, she briefs the Korean generals on their experiences. Despite skepticism about the time travel story, the authorities prioritize the possession of the nuke over the missing soldiers. Ultimately, they opt to surrender the warhead to maintain peace between the nations. In the final scene, Dr. Kim visits a local memorial for Admiral Yi, reminiscing about the soldiers in Yi, saddened by the uncertainty surrounding their fate. The scene shifts to the Battle of Myeongyang Strait, where Yi, now a general, prepares to confront the Japanese soldiers. With only 13 Korean ships, Yi leads a successful defense against a Japanese armada outnumbering them over 300 to 1. Aboard his flagship are Park and Choi, now serving as his staff officers. Turn on alerts, like, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Thank you for watching.